started being bullied many years ago now. When I was 6 years old, in first grade, in my first grade class, I started going through emotional bullying and verbal bullying, and over the years of my childhood, going on until actually last year, it just kind of got worse every year, to the point where I was being harassed and beaten every day to a pulp, and coming home not being able to breathe properly. And they followed me home during school. They stuck notes, death wishes on my house. They told me to die. To be honest, I didn't want to speak to them at first, because by the time I reached 4th and 5th grade, I was being harassed and threatened so many times. I didn't feel safe talking to anyone. So I kind of kept it all with me. And afterwards, when I went to elementary school, when I realized that this was a problem, I went to my parents and I told them something's wrong. That's pretty much how I started that. I said, something is wrong. They're hurting me. They're hurting me a lot.
You know, it's nuanced, isn't it? The whole dominance thing, because bullying, really, you can define bullying as dominating another person. So if you can assert that you're a person who also has power and has worth, well, you become less of a target. You know, I was speaking actually other side of the country from you. I was speaking in New York, and on my way to my first gig, I was eating my little breakfast in the hotel lobby, and a guy asked me my name and what I was doing out there. And he says, oh, you're an anti-bullying speaker. You know, what you got to tell those kids is to out-bully the bullies. And you've got to be the alpha dog. And you've got to get in their face and spit in their eye. And the guy says, I was in the Marines, and that's what I tell my sons. And, you know, I understood where he was coming from. And there may be instances where that works. You can sort of pay back the bully. But how I see that is when you engage in the negative behavior, man, maybe at some level it sort of works as far as it might stop the bullying. But what it really does is it brings down the whole school culture. You're going down to their level and you're playing the exact same game. And I think there's a way, and I think this is what you're describing, I think there's a way to carry yourself with confidence without having to dominate the person back, but carrying yourself as a person who has strength, who has value, and who truly is a worthy person at that school. If the only solution you're giving kids is to report all bullying, well, it's not doing a very preventative job of reporting the bullying. So in some schools, all they do is they say, this is what bullying is, these are the types of bullying, and when you see bullying happen, run and tell, run and tell. You know, what does that say to a student? It says, you're not strong enough to handle your problem. You always have to tell. And I tell students across America that you do have to tell when the bullying is physical, or if it's sexual harassment, or simply if the bullying is being repeated. Even if it's verbal or social bullying, you do get help. But we know that most of the time bullying starts more subtly than that, doesn't it? It starts verbally, it starts socially. And in those moments, we have to give these students more of a solution than simply run and tell every time. We want them to be able to speak up for themselves and to speak up for others with respect. And that's what I mean when I talk about becoming victim-proof. Because it's really not about what happens to you in life. It's about how you respond to it. If you give them the negative reaction that they're looking for and it wrecks your day, and you can see it on your face, what they've done is ruining your attitude and ruining your life. If you give that to the bully, that's exactly what they're looking for. That's the kind of power they want to take.
Dress better. Hold your head high. And don't let people talk to you like that. If someone doesn't like you, sit away from them. If they follow you, keep moving until they get bored. Just don't.
And what I'm hearing here is you have confidence and you have strength, but you're doing it in a respectful way. You know, you're not saying keep following me until I punch your lights out. It's, well, keep following me until you get bored. That's your problem, not mine. I like how you're able to let those folks have their issues without really trying to repay them hurt for hurt. And the thing is, what I see in your life is somebody who used confidence to pull themselves out of the target zone. You know, you exude self-confidence, and because of that, a bully is automatically going to look for a different target, and that's something you're doing a great job of.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it took a long time to get to that point, and I just kind of learned like I need to hold my head high because I need to think of myself as a person and not as, because if you look down, if you slump your shoulders and you dress out of the first thing that comes out of your closet, people are going to see you like that. People are going to perceive you how you perceive yourself. So I tell myself that every day, and I tell myself, show other people who you are. Don't let them tell you who you are.